Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Latinx Business Show. On today's tax tip, we're going to talk about the adoption tax credit. So with the IRS, you can apply to get a credit for any adoption expenses you have for your child. Today we're going to be going over the requirements and what forms you use and whatnot. So this is going to be a quick episode, so it won't last too long, but also I'm just going to give you guys key takeaways. And if you guys need any tax help, you can always reach out to us, and we will more than gladly help you and guide you through that. And if you're in another state, that you can still reach out to us, right? We do virtual consultations as well. All right, so the adoption tax credit. What form do you need? You need form 8839. So 8839 is the actual tax form you fill out with the IRS to be able to get this credit. The maximum amount of credit for tax year 2024 is $16,810. For 2025, thanks to the new tax laws that are going to be enacted, that's going to go up to $17,280. One big major change from that is that you're going to be able to have $5,000 of that $17,000 credit be refunded to you. Historically, this credit just reduces your tax. So let's say you and your spouse have $20,000 of tax that you owe, and let's say your expenses while getting your child home to you and during the adoption were $30,000. Well, you qualify for the max amount, which is $17,000, even though your expenses were $30,000, right? So this credit is supposed to help you alleviate some of those expenses. Historically, in the U.S., adoptions could be as low as $5,000 if it's through the public realm, but privately that could go up to $20,000 or even $40,000, right? It also depends if you're adopting locally or internationally, or if you're adopting a child from another state that's not your home state. Costs can go up pretty fast. Some of the expenses that you're allowed to claim for this credit is the adoption fees, the attorney fees, the home study fees, court costs, and travel as well. So to offset some of those expenses, right? It's really nice that if you are able to max out the full amount of the credit in 1 year, at least $5,000 of that will be sent back to your pocket, right? Because then what if the adoption starts in 1 year and it doesn't finalize to the next year? Well, that's okay. You could, apply the first year for the adoption credit, even though the adoption hasn't finalized, and then you can get that $5,000 and apply it to the second year. The child has to be 18 years or under. They could be physically or mentally incapable of caring for themselves, regardless of their age, right? Any adoption at that point would qualify. Two important factors. It can't be your spouse's child that you're adopting, and then you cannot, this adoption cannot be a result of surrogacy. So if you go get a surrogate to have your baby, that's not considered an adoption. You don't qualify for that credit. And I don't recommend that you, for example, do this form on your own, 8839, because the tax professionals are the ones that have experience filling it out correctly. Not filling out the tax form correctly would just add delays to your refunds or credits you're getting. So I would not recommend that. So if you're adopting more than one child, this credit applies to one individual child. So if you're adopting twins, or if you're adopting a brother and a sister, then you can have expenses for both of them that you separate, right? $17,000 for each one of them. Of course, with any credit with the IRS, there's always face-out limits. So face-out limits in 2024 start at $252,000 of income, modified adjusted gross income. And in 2025, you can make up to $259,000 of income and still qualify for a portion of the credit. So anything after that, the credit starts being reduced based on how much more income you have, right? But I really like the fact that because it's a portion of it is going to be refundable now, you're actually going to be able to have more money in your pocket in the current year, or possibly to finalize an adoption, right? Especially if you started the year before. But if you guys that's it, I think, with the child tax credit. If you guys have any specific questions or want me to answer some of your specific adoption credit needs or questions you have, you can always reach out to us. And then my contact information is in the podcast notes, so you'll see my email there. But that's it for today.